Imagine debuting with the weight of an entire industry on your shoulders. Not hype, expectation. Imagine being introduced not as another rookie group, but as the future of K-pop, the project SM Entertainment had been engineering for years. 12 members, 2 units, superpowers, lore, Korean and Chinese markets at the same time. EXO didn't walk into the industry, they were launched into it like a missile. And when you're launched that high, you don't get room to learn how to land. You either dominate or you crash in public. In 2012, K-pop wasn't friendly to newcomers. It was territorial, brutal, dominated by legends who had already secured their thrones. Big Bang wasn't done shaping the sound of an era. Super Junior still commanded arenas. Girls' generation were untouchable. Rookies came and went like seasonal trends, but EXO wasn't allowed to be temporary. They weren't treated as boys chasing a dream. They were treated as a corporate bet. SM invested everything, money, time, reputation, and the public felt it. And when audiences feel a company pushing too hard, the backlash is immediate. Too many members, too complicated, too artificial. Before EXO could even breathe, they were defending their existence. Mama didn't explode the way SM expected. The song was theatrical, dramatic, ambitious, almost intimidating. EXO's early months were filled with confusion rather than celebration. People didn't know how to approach them. Fans were curious, critics were skeptical, antis were loud. And inside that noise were 12 teenagers and young men trying to survive a system that doesn't teach you how to be human, only how to perform. Then 2013 happened. Growl wasn't just a hit, it was a reset button. One choreography video, one song, one era that flipped the industry. Suddenly, EXO wasn't a question mark anymore, they were the standard. Album sales broke records. Physical sales became relevant again. Fan culture intensified. The phrase XOL became powerful. EXO wasn't just popular, they were unavoidable. And that's when the pressure multiplied. Because success doesn't protect idols, it exposes every crack. Behind the cameras, the reality was harsher. 12 people under relentless schedules. No privacy, no margin for error. Different languages, different cultures, one company, one image. And then everything collapsed. A member left, then another, then another. Lawsuits, contract disputes, silence from the company, silence from the remaining members, headlines writing stories without facts, fans grieving in real time, antis celebrating like it was a victory. And EXO, still active, still promoting, still expected to smile, stood in the middle of a storm they weren't allowed to address. Overnight, the narrative changed, from nation's boy group to group falling apart, from dominance to doubt. This is where most groups end. EXO didn't. They lost members, but they refused to lose identity. They reorganized quietly. No dramatic announcements, no public breakdowns. They re-recorded songs, rearranged formations, relearned choreography, sang lines meant for brothers who were gone, and every time they went on stage, they carried both grief and professionalism, because idols aren't allowed to process loss publicly. That era forged EXO's real character. Not shiny, not invincible, but resilient. Call Me Baby came out like a challenge. Love Me Right followed with confidence. Then Monster, dark, aggressive, controlled. EXO wasn't chasing approval anymore. They were asserting presence. Their music matured, their performances sharpened, their expressions changed. You could see it. This wasn't rookie hunger anymore. This was survival instinct. But survival isn't glamorous. Injuries piled up. Exhaustion became visible. Fans started noticing moments when smiles didn't reach eyes. Mental health struggles were never officially named, but they were felt. EXO was running on discipline, not energy. And still, they delivered. Album after album, era after era, no excuses. What separated EXO from many groups was how they handled relevance. They didn't chase trends. They didn't rebrand every comeback. They trusted their foundation: vocals, performance, identity. While the industry leaned into virality, EXO leaned into craft. Then came enlistment. the silent killer of idol momentum. Members left one by one, promotions slowed, group comebacks became rare. New generations arrived fast, louder, younger, algorithm-friendly. The K-pop landscape transformed completely, and for a moment it felt like EXO might quietly become history. But something unexpected happened. EXO didn't disappear. Instead, they diversified. Solo careers bloomed naturally, not as backup plans, but as extensions of identity. Baekhyun dominated charts without heavy promotion. D.O. earned respect as an actor beyond idol roles. Kai turned performance into high art. Chen held vocal standards when vocals were being sidelined. Suho emerged as a leader who didn't need volume to command respect. Each member built credibility independently, which made the group stronger, not weaker. By the early 2020s, EXO existed in a rare state, inactive but influential. Their names still trended, their music still charted, their legacy still shaped conversations. Younger idols still named them as inspirations. Producers still referenced EXO's discography as a benchmark. Then came the reminder comeback. No desperation, no overpromotion, just music. And the response proved something important. EXO didn't need to prove they were still relevant. The audience already knew. By 2024 and into 2025, the way people talk about EXO changed again. They weren't framed as competition anymore, they were framed as reference points. Vocal comparisons, stage presence discussions, longevity debates. EXO had become the measuring stick, quietly, organically. In 2025, EXO occupies a space no other group truly does. They aren't chasing numbers, they aren't fighting for relevance. They're not stuck in nostalgia either. They exist with control, with leverage, with choice. Members speak more openly now, not bitter, but reflective, acknowledging pressure, acknowledging pain, acknowledging survival. EXO today doesn't feel tired, they feel settled. Their performances are calm but heavy. Their confidence isn't loud, it's anchored. They don't rush stages, they don't over-explain concepts, they don't need to. Because EXO already proved what most groups never get the chance to prove, that you can lose members, lose time, lose momentum, and still keep identity. They survived expectations that would crush most artists. They survived public backlash cycles. They survived internal loss. They survived industry politics. They survived silence. They survived time. And in an industry designed to replace you every few years, that might be the hardest achievement of all. EXO's story isn't about perfection, it's about endurance. If you stayed until this moment, you didn't just watch a video, you walked through a legacy. Comment the era that made you realize EXO wasn't just successful, but unbreakable. And if you want more movie-length, fan-driven documentaries about K-pop groups who didn't just debut, but survived history, subscribe to Daibak Daily. This isn't nostalgia, this is survival turned into legacy.